Hey, welcome back to my channel Endless Pages. I'm Liv and welcome to today's video, which is my TBR pile of possibilities for the month of June. Hello, hope you've been well. Like I said, this is my TBR video for the month of June. Although it's not really a TBR video, it's more a pile of possibilities. In the month of June, I'm participating in the amazing Readathon, which is this amazing, awesome Readathon created by Brie from Four Paws in a Book. This is the second time this Readathon is happening, but my first time participating. I had to participate. Everyone was talking about it. It seems so cool. It seems like so many people are participating, and like majority of people I know are participating in it. So it sounds so fun and creative and fast paced. So I just had to join in. I will obviously tag the announcement video in the description below. I feel like everyone already knows about this Readathon though, but basically, yeah, it's a Readathon that is inspired by the Amazing Race TV show. And we'll be traveling from destination to destination and reading a book to get to each destination. The reason this is a pile of possibilities though is because we don't know the prompts before the Readathon. The prompts are going to drop every couple of days, and yeah, so we can't really know or plan what we're going to read. There is like bonus prompts that you can plan for. I haven't really looked at them. I feel like some of these books will probably meet them anyway, because from what I've kind of seen, they don't seem crazy difficult or specific depending on how many points they get you. So I feel like some of the books will match up anyway. But yes, this is just going to be basically a pile of books that I could potentially read for the Readathon. I am on Team Spooky, which is like horror thrillers. I thought I'd join Team Spooky because thrillers for me would be the quickest to read. So I thought I could fly through them. You don't have to read your team genre, you just get bonus points if you do. So as I should mention as well, of course June is Pride Month, so I also have in this pile of possibilities a bunch of beautiful queer LGBTQIA+ books that I would love to get to this month as well. So let's just get into it. I apologize for the lighting, it is horrible. I'm filming this at like 6 o'clock at night. So there's no natural light. I don't have any lights other than the dim one in my bedroom. So I apologise. This looks kind of blurry and dark, but whatever. We've got to film when I can. Okay, let's talk about the books on my list of possibilities. I believe I have about, let's see, 13? Yeah, I have about 13. So I've got a good chunk of books to choose from. Let's just start with the first one. This is one of my first queer ones. This is In Deeper Waters by F.T. Lukens. This is a young adult queer fantasy book. I believe it's also piratey, which, yes, absolutely. I am in such a piratey mood at the moment. So the blurb reads, most princes would be eager for their coming of age tour. But Tal isn't most princes. He knows he can't partake in the adventure and debauchery his siblings enjoyed on their tours, not when letting loose could mean accidentally revealing his forbidden magic and upending his kingdom's hard-won peace. But when his ship's crew rescues a mysterious prisoner from a burning derelict vessel just a few days into the journey, his world changes. Tal is surprised to feel an intense connection with the roguish Athlin. So when Athlin leaps overboard and disappears, he feels responsible and heartbroken, knowing that Athlin could not survive in the open ocean. That is until Tal runs into Athlin days later on dry land, very much alive and as charming and secretive as ever. But before they can pursue anything further, Tal is kidnapped by pirates and held for ransom in a plot to reveal his rumoured powers and instigate a war. Tal must escape if he hopes to save not only himself, but his family in the kingdom, and Athlin might just be his only hope. This sounds adorable. I'm in such a piratey mood at the moment. I love a good YA queer romance. They just seem to do it really well in the YA genre. And also kind of giving me Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue vibes with a young queer boy going on his coming of age tour, but maybe just with magic. So yeah, look at the cover. I'm very excited for this one. Speaking of queer fantasy, we also have on my TBR the Sunbearer Trials by Aidan Thomas. This is first in a duology. This is basically a kind of trials where these from what I can tell, like kids of gods, kind of like demigods, but they call them something different, like semi-dioses. I think that's kind of like a demigod. We follow our main character, Tio, who is, who is he? Oh, he is the trans son of the goddess of birds, which is so freaking cool. Anyway, so 10 semi-dioses get selected every year to compete in the trials, and then the winner will be sacrificed to Sol, and their body used to fuel the sunstones that will protect the people of the Rio del Sol for the next 10 years. Tio actually gets selected for the trials, and he gets put up against his kind of ex-friend turned rival, and they have to compete in 5 mysterious trials, and against opponents who are both more powerful and better trained for fame, glory, and for their own survival. This has been on my radar for so long. The plot has me so intrigued. I've heard great stuff about this. I'm so excited to read this. Even more YA queer books. We have The First to Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I believe this is a prequel to They Both Die at the End, which I read a couple of years ago. Adored that book. This is basically a world where there's a service called Deathcast, and 24 hours before you're going to die, Deathcast calls you, sends you a message, I can't remember, one of the two, to let you know that you're going to die in the next 24 hours, but you don't know when, where, how. So I loved They Both Die at the End. This is about, I believe, maybe the first kind of group, the first night that Deathcast ever existed. So you follow 2 people and their stories after they learned they're going to die. The first book, They Both Die at the End, was so moving and beautiful. I'm hoping to get the same energy and vibes from this one. Next up, we have a middle grade horror. This is Dead Voices by Catherine R. Dern. This is a sequel to Small Spaces, which I read at the end of last year and absolutely loved. I thought this was great because it is spooky, so it fits Team Spooky. Plus it is a middle grade, so easy to fly through and quite short. So I thought it was a good pick. Hopefully it fits one of the adventure fun prompts. I believe each book in this series follows different characters and different story, maybe, unless it follows the same character. Oh no, it might follow the same characters but a different story. So we follow, yes, Ollie, Brian and Coco, who had quite a terrifying experience in the first book from this evil guy called the Smiling Man. Anyway, so they're up for some fun after trauma of the first book. But their enthusiasm quickly dims as on a trip to the snow, a snowstorm traps them at a lodge with only their parents and Mr. Voland, a mysterious ghost hunter, for company. Strange things start to happen. Coco is seeing shadowy figures, Ollie is having nightmares about frostbitten girls, and Brian is positive that the stuffed bear in the lobby was on its hind legs when they arrived, not on all fours. Their fun-filled trip is quickly turned into another terrifying encounter with another dimension. There are ghosts at Mount Hemlock and their voices are demanding to be heard, but the price of listening may be too high. I loved the first book. It was quite scary for a middle grade and it was just like a beautiful story about friendship. So I'm so excited to continue on with this series, and I'm so excited that I found a book that works so well, hopefully, for this readathon. The next 2 books are books I stole from someone else's TBR. I will tag Josh's Instagram in the description below. So I stole these 2 books from Josh's TBR. He is on the same team. He's also on Team Spooky for the readathon. So thanks, Josh. So the first one is The Launch Party by Lauren A. Forey. This is a thriller, like a trapped room kind of thriller. So it's described as Agatha Christie meets Andy Weir. Beautiful, what a combination. So 10 lucky people have won a place at the most exclusive launch of the century, the grand opening of Hotel Artemis, the first hotel on the moon. As their transport departs for its return to Earth and the doors still shut behind them, the guests take the next leap for mankind. However, they soon discover that not all is as it seems. The champagne may be flowing, but there is no one to pour it. Room service is available, but there is no one to deliver. Beside the 10 guests, they are completely alone. Then, when one of the guests is found murdered, fear spreads through the group. But that death is only the beginning. Being 3 days' journey from home and with no way to contact the outside, can any of the guests survive their stay? So, this sounds So good. I love a claustrophobic trap setting thriller that's just like, you just can't replicate that tension that you get from following a group of people that are trapped inside this horror. So this sounds really good. Thanks, Josh. The other book I stole from Josh, I'm gonna have to remember. Oh, that's it. The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. This is about a girl who goes to live with her brother in Paris, and then I think he's nowhere to be seen. So she doesn't know where he is, and the longer he stays missing, the more she starts to dig into her brother's situation and the more questions she has. Ben, who's the brother's neighbours, are an eclectic bunch and not particularly friendly. But it looks like the neighbours know more than they're letting on. All of the neighbours are a suspect, and everyone knows something that they're not telling. So thanks, Josh, for letting me steal these off your TBR. Those are 2 thrillers that I can hopefully read in the month of June. So the next one on my list is Banana Fish. This is the first volume in a manga series by Akemi Yoshida. I think I picked this one up because I saw a TikTok edit of the anime of it. I believe this is kind of like a spy set in the New York in the 80s. We follow a guy who's kind of working for this crime lord Papa, and kind of trapped in Papa's world, and then I think he also kind of starts to get to know this guy called Akamura, who is a young photographer from Japan, and I think maybe they start to fall in love. But yeah, I don't know much about it other than that, and I'm kind of happy to go into it blind. Yeah, I don't know how I'll feel about this one, we'll see. The next book is another thriller, and that is Richard Osman's The Thursday Murder Club. I have been wanting to read this for so long. All of the elderly people who go to my library keep telling me to read this book, so I think it is time. I think this is a retirement village and they solve a murder. Yes, that is basically the plot. I don't think I need to say more than that. Apparently it is really like a thriller, but like not an intense thriller, like a quick and easy read, like that you can fly through. It's quite addictive but not too heavy. So I think it's nice sometimes that I read too many dark thrillers to have a nice balance of a not so heavy one that is still fun and addictive to read. Next up on my list is My Dearest Darkest by Kayla Cottingham. This recommendation is a perfect recommendation from Sash Reads, so thank you, Sash, because it is queer and spooky, so perfect. This is a young adult book. I believe it's a lesbian romance. Says Wilder Girls meets The Craft, and I love The Craft movie, so that's amazing. So we follow students at Lumloom Academy. I butchered that. But months before she starts at this new academy, Finch and her parents got into an accident that should have left her dead at the bottom of a river. But something monstrous and ancient and terrifying won't let her drown. And she keeps feeling this constant pull from the school to the surrounding towns of rainwater, like something on the island is calling to her. And we also follow Selena, who sees right through Finch, knows something's going on with her, and they just kind of feel like inexplicably linked to one another. So one night, Finch, Selena and some other girls accidentally summon a carnivorous creature of immense power in the depths of the school. It promises to grant every desire the girls have locked away in their insecure hearts: beauty, power, adoration, in exchange for a prize: human body parts. But as the cost of their wanting becomes more deadly, Finch and Selena must learn to work together to stop the horror they unleash before it consumes the entire island. So it sounds horrifying and scary and queer, lesbian romance. Yeah, so I am very, very, very excited for this one, and it's perfect rec. I am hoping so badly that I can make this work for one of the prompts because it is literally perfect. Next up, we have another graphic novel. This is The Backstages. This is volume 1, Rebels Without Applause. That's such a good title. I love it. This is a middle grade fantasy graphic novel series. We follow like a backstage crew at this all-boys private school where this boy called Jory transfers, and he kind of gets welcomed into the group and accepted, and he, you know, gains them as friends. But behind the school is also a magical world, with unpredictable twists and turns of the underground world. The backstagers, who are the backstage crew, venture into the unknown, determined to put together the best play their high school has ever seen. This sounds so wholesome and fun, and it's queer as well, so perfect. Next up we have another thriller, The Survivors by Jane Harper. I love Jane Harper. I'm so excited to read another one of her works. This is about a guy called Kieran Elliott. His life was changed forever on the day a reckless mistake led to devastating consequences. He goes back later in life with his young family, with the guilt that still haunts him, to visit his parents in the small coastal community he once called home. Between them all is his absent brother Finn. A body is discovered on the beach, long-held secrets threaten to emerge, a sunken wreck, a missing girl, and questions that have never washed away. Jane Harper's writing is always so atmospheric, and she just does the trope well of like a main character with like, I don't know, it was kind of like in The Dry, her other book, there was the main plot line of like, say, the missing girl in this book, but also the main character had a past that could link up to the case. Like, I love when she does that in books, so it looks like that's the case in this book as well, so I'm excited. I'm gonna love it. It's Jane Harper. The final book on my tentative TBR that I want to talk about is We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchinson. This is a book that I have been wanting to pick up for years and years and years. It's a science fiction alien, but it's also queer adult book. We follow our main character Henry, who has spent years being periodically abducted by aliens, and he must make a choice whether or not the world is worth saving. The aliens then give him an ultimatum. The world will end in 144 days, and all Henry has to do to stop it is push a big red button. Only he isn't sure what he wants to. After all, life hasn't been great for Henry. His mother is a struggling waitress held together by a thin layer of cigarette smoke. His brother is a jobless dropout who just knocked someone up. His grandmother is slowly losing herself to Alzheimer's, and Henry is still dealing with the grief of his boyfriend's suicide last year. Wiping the slate clean sounds like a pretty good choice to him, but Henry is a scientist first, and facing the questions thoroughly and logically, he begins to look for pros and cons. In the bully who is his perpetual one-night stand, in the best friend who betrayed him, in the brilliant and mysterious boy who walked into the wrong class. Weighing the pain and joy that surrounds him, Henry is left with the ultimate choice. Push the button or save the planet and everyone on it, or let the world and his pain be destroyed forever. This is a book that, like I said, has been on my radar for years. I have been wanting to pick it up for so long. It sounds like it'll be quite a confronting and tough read. It sounds quite upsetting, but it sounds really good. It's really caught my attention for so long, and I'm excited to have an opportunity to finally put it on a TBR. So yeah, okay, that is all 13 books on my tentative TBR for the month of June. They're just a pile of books that I can pull from throughout the month, so I've kind of got possibilities for the readathon, and I've got a bunch of queer books planned so I can just not be overwhelmed during the month and know I've got selections to choose from. I'm hoping some of these meet prompts for Adventure-a-thon. If not, I'm in trouble. I'm screwed. But yeah, I'm very excited for Adventure-a-thon. I'm so intimidated, to be honest, because I'm such a slow reader that I feel like I'm just going to fall behind really quickly. Because I did a similar readathon, a similar structure with the Clue readathon, where the prompts dropped randomly every couple of days, and I fell behind very quickly. But I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm going to have fun with it, because that is the main point. I'm very looking forward to participating. I'm also looking forward to reading lots of beautiful queer books in the month of June. So yeah, keep an eye out. I'll be hopefully vlogging it. Let me know in the comments below. Are you participating in Adventure-a-thon? If so, what team are you going to be on? What queer books are you planning on reading for Pride Month next month? And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you would like to see what I get up to in the month of June. And thank you so much for watching again, and I will see you in whatever the hell I post next. Bye!